Nice. Well, it's been quite a while since I did one of these after work lives, but you want to know what? My name is Chris Palmer, and in today's advanced local SEO for Google Maps video, what I want to go ahead and do is I would like to share with you some advanced local SEO Google Maps tactics, strategies, techniques that we utilize in order to get a competitive advantage. So here, let's go ahead and go through a couple of these together. I want to state though something quick. Here, let's make sure that everything's running. All right. And here, check this out. Look, we got Instagram. I never did an Instagram live from here. Exciting. Fancy. I'll edit this video later. I might move some of this to the members only area, but I'll chop it up for smaller videos later on. Let's see how this works. Wow. ROI DOC joined. So cool, dude. Anywho, let's go ahead and get into some of these tactics, tips, strategy, some tactics. I want to just first state educational purposes only, hypothetical, educational. I'll give you the overview without giving you the how to. Okay. Some of this stuff you may know already. And we'll start off light with opinion sculpting, utilizing social media and other platforms. All right. Now we're talking about Google Maps, local SEO, but more importantly, we're looking to enhance a local business's presence, their brand prominence within Google Maps and local. All right. So firstly, opinion sculpting, utilizing social media and other platforms. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right. Here, let's move this over. All righty. You can have that. So opinion sculpting for Google Maps, what we will primarily do, it could go either way, whether it's going to be positive or negative. Again, I'm going to give you the overview without the how to, but I'll give you some helpful hints. All right. Now, how we do opinion sculpting isn't necessarily going to be with the higher end digital PR, press releases. No, you have to sign up not only your brand, but with a marketing agency, it's going to cost you a bunch of money. What we like to do, whether we're doing opinion sculpting in a positive light or opinion sculpting in a negative light, we're looking for things such as this. I'll show you. We're looking for scale. And here's one of my favorite go-tos. Watch this. All right. So you come over here. Again, I'm not going to give you every single piece, but I'll give you as much as I can. And what we're looking for, and look at these platforms. I'm sure you've heard of Legit. Look at SEO Clerks, BuzzStream, K-Shop. This is going to be really expensive here. And this is just one search phrase. Now, what we're looking to do when we're doing mass scale, dollar PBN links, dollar guest posting, whether it's positive or negative, we want to go over, here's the brand, here's the business, here's what they do, here's where they're doing it. And whether we want to give them a positive review or a negative sentiment, we can do this at scale for a very low cost. Another aspect of this is you can do listicles the same exact way. Here's another fun way of doing opinion sculpting at scale. Here, check this out. All right, you can look this up for yourself. All right, or maybe you have Scrapebox, maybe you have GSA, maybe you have these tools. And I know with the age of AI, I'm sure there's fancier stuff, right? But at the end of the day, whether it's a comment link, a guest post, a PR, a digital PR, and you pay $500 or you pay somebody $5, if I can get out there 1,000 reference points talking about this brand, this business, this service in a positive light, it's only a matter of time before Google and other search engines start to see it. With that being said, what I did here is comment link blast service. All right. You can buy lists for GSA. There's tons of opportunity. But what I will tell you is go to the big platforms, curate yourself a massive list. And when you're doing spam, especially spam, make sure you're doing it in the thousands. Again, educational purposes only. What we're looking to do here is opinion sculpt at scale using dollar PBN posts or comment links. And if you want to spend the extra dollars, go right ahead. You can buy digital PR. You can buy high quality guest posts. You could buy high quality press releases, but good luck getting those to pass. Let's move on to the very next tip. All right. This is educational purposes only. I haven't done a late night strategy guide in a long time. Let's talk about street viewing. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this? Right, Chris? I have yet to see. Well, let's talk about it. So we're going to go over here, and here's what's great about street reviewing. So here, let's just say that you have a local business. Okay, let's pull one out of a hat. How about SEO? I have no idea. Let's go to Google Maps. I don't know who this is. This is for educational purposes only. This is just a tips video. That's it. All right. So if you see your asset and you'd like me to remove it from this particular educational video, please let me know. But here's what we're going to talk about now. These are street reviews. Better yet, here, let me point something out to you. So we're talking about street viewing. All right. Watch this. So let's just say, for instance, all right, hypothetically, that you have a business. All right. This is one of our favorite tactics. If you come over here, if we were to do it, hypothetically. So let's just say that you have a business. Your business is here. Say you're a personal injury lawyer, okay? You're a personal injury lawyer and you're in, I don't know, Philadelphia. Well, your business is here. Let's pretend this is maps. Here's a street that your business is on, okay? There's also highways by your business. On top of that, there's probably going to be crossroads, scenic roads, right? And there's even going to be other businesses nearby. But what did we just do, right? I know I just drew it out crudely, but we drew a geo shape around your business, probably on the county line. And did you know that you could leave reviews on streets? Well, if we're leaving reviews on streets, we could reference a great business, right? That's on this particular street. On top of that, what about if you're a personal injury, car accident, truck accident, brain injury, whatever the case is. Maybe you had to go see the chiropractor because you got into an accident. You could say on this street, this is where I had my accident on this date. My name is this. You could do anything that you would like. The same goes with places. Here, let me share this with you. Come on over here. Go to maps. And let's just go to Pennsylvania. All right. Philadelphia. All right. Philadelphia attorneys. Okay. Again, educational purposes only. This is all for fun. Attorneys with a Z and an S. Good job, Chris. In any case, so you can see here where the ranking window is, or however you'd like to look at it. But let's take a look at this map right here. So if we're taking a look at Philadelphia, let's say that your business is in South Philadelphia, all right, where the Prince of Bel-Air grew up, or was that West? Either way, South Philadelphia, all right. Now, Google will graciously put a red line or a red dot around South Philadelphia, right? This is an invisible line to outline where this particular area is. Now, I'm sure there's also zip codes associated with this, longitudes and latitudes, but more importantly, there's probably streets associated to it. In fact, if you take a look, if you zoom in like this, and I might be on a bad account, but if you zoom in, all right, I'll share with you something really quick. See how there's Oregon Avenue? So Oregon Avenue in Philadelphia. So you can go here, click on this. Okay. This is not going to be one of those assets. You need to zoom in, and there has to be an actual dot like this. You could probably do it here. All right. Let's just say this is 11th Street in Porter. You can leave a review at 11th Street in Porter. Right. But depending on the city, depending on where you are, depending on the route, the road, the street, the city, also your account. This account that I'm showing you this in is, I've done all kinds of stuff. Like if I go to leave a review or if I try to leave a suggestion, it'll just take me in a loop. This is like my learning account early on. But this is what I mean by this. You find a street, you could click here, 11th Street and Shunk Street. You can leave reviews on the street. You can leave reviews on places. You could leave reviews on monuments. You can even leave reviews on construction sites. All I'm getting at is if you find a particular geoshape and your business is in the middle, you can leave not only reviews, but now I'm building entity relationships back to my business listing. I'm surrounding my business. On top of that, too, the same thing goes with residential addresses. If you have a client, I'm just saying, you could have, let's move on to the next tip. Just take this tip and just know that sometimes you can build on top of it, all right? But giving Google more touch points, launches and lads, areas you service, streets, anything that has an entity ID, massively helpful. So reviews on streets, reviews on places, reviews on monuments, tied back to your service, your business, your brand, good luck. The next tips that I'd like to go ahead and give you is going to be road reviews, street viewing. I guess we tied both of those together. Street views, road reviews, I guess we kind of did those together. I'm wondering to myself if I could give you anything extra. How about robot dialers? What do you know about these? All right. Now, everyone knows about robot dialers and Google business profiles and Google Maps, but let's just say you're a locksmith, right? Let's say you're a locksmith in Boca Raton. So Boca Raton locksmith, all right? So you're a locksmith, you're in Boca Raton, maybe a smaller area, right? See, in big cities or in big suburban places where there could be more than one or two people answering that phone, they might have an answering service, but most small businesses have 1 to 5 people, right? At least the ones that I've worked with or potentially saw doing a strategy such as this. Now, early on, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, you used to be able to get something that was called a DOC number, business line. Is that what it's called? Not a DOC. I forget the name of it. You'd register your business number. But the problem with that was that it was actually internet over, what was it? Phone over internet? TOIP or TOCIP, something along these lines. What is this? TOCIP, like Twilio, right? What is this called? It's just slipping my mind right this very second. Let me open this door up. Voice over IP. VoIP. Anyway, so it used to be this would be highly effective. But what you would have to do is you would have to register your actual line, your VoIP number, as a business. I think it was DOC. There was another registration number that you would have to do. If you go to Plivo, this is the one that we used to utilize, but we don't have to anymore. So you'd go to Plivo, and this is the one that used to register. You'd be able to set everything up through API. It used to work. And if you were to check the phone numbers, it would register as a regular ASN. So I'd sign up a regular ASN as an actual business. And the marketing, whether it was SMS, whether it was phone calls, whether it was robo-dialing through a dialer, through a list, it worked very efficiently. But then the company started getting hip to it. Didn't you notice after all these updates with Apple and Android that those types of marketing materials wouldn't go out anymore? I couldn't send bulk SMS. I couldn't send and blast people with phone calls for timeshares, right? Well, as we've moved forward, and I'll show you what it was called. Give me 1 second. Plivo channels. So Plivo, what's it called? What did we used to do? We used to set it up. I can't, of course, SIP trunking. No, that's not it. Doesn't matter. It was a way to sign up your phone number as a business to do marketing, right? Plivo, sign up phone number for marketing calls. What's this called? DM something? I'm going to stop looking. Non-VoIP numbers, voice calls. I can't think of. 10DLC. That's it right there. You sign up for the 10DLC. It doesn't work anymore. Doesn't matter. So what are you going to do now if you wanted to do either robocalling, robotext, right? This is where they're one after another, or you can do blasts, right? Well, there's many ways of going about doing this, but first and foremost, why would I want to set up a robocaller? Not this way anymore, but I'll give you a tip. Why would I want to do this? Well, let me just go ahead over here and help you out with that, all right? Here's what I've seen hypothetically in the past, all right? So let's just take this right here. If you're working with a timeshare, a travel club, if you're working with a car dealer, they're running a promotion. If I have all lines busy, it's hard for real customers to call through. If I am running promotional texts, same type of strategy, consistently and efficiently, I'm bound to catch some sales. But more importantly, if I have the phones all dialing and all busy, or their agents just answering for no reason, the probability of a real customer getting through is highly unlikely. Again, this is for smaller shops, travel clubs, timeshares, people running promotions, small locksmiths. Use your imagination. But let's just say the new way of going about it is much better. So now how I see it going on is 10 SIM card slot SMS hub. All right. I'll give you the overview, not the how-to. All right. But I will point in the right direction of some things. So take a look at something like this. As you can see here, you can put these pay-as-you-go, bulk pay-as-you-go SIM cards within these hubs. And these hubs come with their own standalone software. In fact, you can even go online if you would like, and there's actually cloud infrastructure, or they call them, what are they called? Co-locations. They have co-locations just for IT. And there's lots of guys like me and you, and gals too, that set these up just for these type of marketing campaigns. You can set them up with hard SIM cards, but you could do it all in the cloud as well. With that being said, this will be for robocalls. You can also set up text message bulk texting. Like, when you go to Brevo or you go to Twilio and you go to these platforms, they're not going to let you crack out 10, 20,000. You'll need a lot of SIM cards, but the sky's the limit. Let's move forward. The next thing I'd like to share with you for strategies, for educational purposes only, for maps, is going to be this, all right? More effective stuff is going to be the SMS Directional Campaigns. Now, a directional would be could be a website, could be a post, it could be literally a directional request, or it could be a SMS share. And what I mean by this is, if you take that last strategy that we just talked about and you did this at scale, pointing to your website, pointing to a GBP post, or if you were to actually share and then you're utilizing that, the share here, I'll point this out to you. So here, come on into here. Now remember, every time you hit the share button on a GBP or a GBP post, it's a dynamic URL. This dynamic URL is tied back to the account that actually created that clicked the button, right? If you're utilizing eSIM, if you're utilizing a co-located cloud vendor, in order to run the click, get a unique dynamic URL, and then send that out inside of a campaign to point either to your post, to an update, to an offer, to a web page, to a post in your GBP. Wherever you want to point it, you can do this through mass SMS, and the delivery rates are disgusting. The click-through rates are great, especially when you say a message like, "Hello? How come you didn't answer my last text?" Or, "Are you still there? And then if you're buying your lists, when you buy lists now, it's not like it used to be. There used to be like home phone numbers, business phone numbers. Now it's a cell phone number, and it's probably going to hit the person. Just saying. So with that being said, I want to point this out. All right. So you come over here to maps. Here. Los Angeles car lawyers. Okay. Just an example. Just an example. Education, just for fun. All right. Here, let's just say it's this one. I have no idea who this is. Random. So if you were to come inside of here, and I know that I'm on desktop, I completely understand. But you see the share button here? Each time that you hit this share button, this is a dynamic URL. Now, they say they can't track certain aspects, but if you are changing the regional tower that's connected, remember, it's all through header. When I'm going to send a request over the internet, I send the information. What you send, IMEI, SMIEI, ASN details, the tower that was just last pinged, geo coordinates, that's up to you. There's lots of tools and platforms that can help assist with this, but that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about sending mass SMS. Utilize either cloud vendors, or you can utilize your own system at home. I mean, for less than $1,000, you can send out tons of text messages, tons. And inside those text messages, I can send it to posts, web pages, web posts. I can send it to offers, events, whatever you want. So every time you have one of these types of links, this is dynamic. It's tied to the ASN or to the account that initiated the click. With automation now, there's so much that you can do, but utilizing ASN, utilizing those cloud networks, so helpful. And now with satellite, they're making satellite proxies now. It's sick. You can utilize eSIM. You can scale infinitely. Now there's even private networks too. Like there's companies out here like this, and I talked about these guys in 2014. Here, check this out. You remember PUK trunking service, ASN wireless. It's like Trevec. What are they called? Oh, Telnex. I said Trevec. Telnex. This one right here. This is one of these private solutions. They have their own, just like AT&T, just like Verizon, just like T-Mobile. They're not as big, but they have their own ASN. They have their own numbers, and so do a lot of your internet providers now. I'm just saying, it's very easy. Here in PA, it was very expensive for me to set up private. All your providers, depending on where you live, especially out west, you can get all this stuff for a lot cheaper. You could set it up yourself. On top of that, there's MVNOs, there's MVNIs. You could set up and get your own ASNs, your own numbers on the fly, or you could set up with a global eSIM company and distribute as many numbers and accounts as you possibly could imagine. Let's move on. All right, here we go. Robot dialers, SMS direction. All right. Here's a fun one. I talked about this in my group not too long ago. I don't know if you guys and gals have heard of a strategy such as this. So have you ever done ask and answer campaigns? So let's just say you have a Google business profile. So Google Maps, law firm, Austin, Texas. Can we do something else actually? Google Maps. How about a locksmith, Austin, Texas. Get off these law firms. I got law in the brain, I guess. All right. So what we're going to discuss right now, again, these are just tips, strategies, hacks, techniques to either get traffic, get visibility, show prominence within local maps, Google business profiles, to showcase to Google who you are, what you do, and where you're at. Entity association, getting traffic, getting people looking for your brand, getting people actually to your pages, engaging. That's what it's all about, friends. So what we're looking at right now, SMS Directional Campaigns, I touched on that, but ask and answer, all right? Number 6, let's get into this. So I'm sure you've heard or saw the ask campaigns, but generally people are going to mask the profile that is using or leaving the actual question or answer. Most of the time what I've seen is a strategy where, here, I'll show you. Let's go to Maps. Let's find a business, and I'll show you a strategy that I think the first time I saw it, there was a guy, Brock. He had like a Maps training. This was the first time I saw something similar, but nothing like what we found to be highly effective. But here, I'll show you a piece. Check this out. Go to Central Texas. I don't know if these people have it. I don't know who they are, but watch this. Now, a strategy that I used to see, but we just added on top, of course, right? Because as things change, things get less effective. But when you come over here, you know these question answers? Here, let me see if they have them inside of here. All right, so write a review. Nope. Send phone. Interesting. View all products. That is intriguing. How come I don't see ask and answer? Okay. Law firm, Austin, Texas. I'm just trying to get to the answer. Fat fingers, sorry. Just trying to get to the answer. Actually, I want to go and eat now. But, all right. I don't know who this is. This is for educational purposes only. All right, so you grab this. Put this up here like this. And generally, you will be able to not only leave reviews and add photos, but you can generally ask questions or answer questions related to the actual business or the services they provide. Now, for some fun reason, it could be my account, or it could be the category. It could be the account. From the owner, updates, don't see what you need here. Questions are often answered in the community within 20 minutes. Now, this could be the actual Google business. I don't want to post it in there. I want to post it on the profile. It could be this account. It could be because we're usually doing it on mobile. Let's try one more time because I want to show you what I'm talking about, just in case you're not sure. All right. And I always do everything on the fly. So, I don't have it like lined up. I didn't practice 20 times. We just do it. All right. So, let me think to myself. Party bus, Houston. I don't know if it's a category thing. All right, categories, limousine. Okay, let's go over here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. There's only 2 of us. Cool. That's okay. These will be fun little tips for later. All right, so how about limo service, Houston? All right. Hey, there's my buddy. All right, I see that. Yeah, it must have been that account, or it could have been the categories I was choosing, probably the account. But in any case, you see this question answer? Now, I'm sure you may have saw something similar to this, but the problem is oftentimes people will hide, or they'll only have one account. So you can not only answer, but you can also ask questions. But you don't want to ask questions on your competition's profile under your name. No, you want to ask questions to your competition with your business name. But here's where it gets even better. You know how you probably have more than one Google business profile? You may even have it a dash location profile, or maybe you just have 2 accounts. With each Google business profile or Google workspace, you get an alias. You know how you could just stack aliases? Like john@business.com, tony@business.com. Each one of these is a Google account. Each one is going to have a name that's publicly across Google. So you may have seen you answer questions. I think I saw that in a course years back. But you can ask and answer all with the same accounts, but you use two. You use one from Tony and one from John at your business address. You with me? You can ask and answer. Here's what else you can do. Here's another fun one. If you take a look at the updates, all right. Now I'm not going to get into this one, but you can leave post and post updates also on a Google Business Profile. At the end of the day, whether it's an image, a question, an answer, both, or a review, you're not trying to only tie back to your name, but your business's name and location, especially if it's a top performer. This coupled with locations, monuments, places of interest in your area, plus your brand, business, and services associated to the top competition, all pointing back. Then on top of that, I'll give you another one. Here's another element that we do. All right. Now, I don't think I have any type of software on this computer, but oftentimes what I'll see is I'll see SEOs utilizing either tools, bots, and what they're doing is they're actually pushing traffic from monuments or places of interest. For example, here, let's just say that this limo service, and I don't know if I have, yeah, it's not showing anything. I think I had like one of those test ones on here. This isn't an SEO tools video. All I want to share with you is this. Inside of these tools, you know how you can push traffic or directional requests, or you can run directions from a location to the business? Most of the time, it's going to be places of interest that will include things like libraries. It'll include gas stations, schools. No, what never comes up in the list in all the tools that I've seen is it never just lists out competition. If you're going to use directional requests, or if you're going to run traffic and get directions from somewhere, from business to business, from streets or residents that left reviews, if you go to a residential location, leave a review on their house, do a directional request to your business. Here's another thing. You can geotag. If you use HVEC images, let me make sure I got this right. I could be wrong with my letters here. HEVC, Android, HEVC, yep. And then HEIVC, is that what Apple is? I forget. HEIC and HVIC. Android, Apple. Inside of these types of formats, there's massive amounts of data that you can put. On top of it, it could be aperture, it could be time of day, it could be year, time. What's really great is all of the different schema types that you can add to the actual file format, and it doesn't get stripped out. You can add it to the images, it doesn't get stripped out. So when you're out there leaving images on resident houses, on roads, all the way from your business on every street around, I can load these up with actual information and tie it right back to my business. So images in these file formats are very effective. One more hint as far as file formats. Everyone uses MOV, MP4, H.264. And you know, these are very effective and helpful, right? But there's other formats that you're allowed to add metadata, schema. I believe it is MKHV, because inside of Maps and in Google Business Profiles, you're allowed video. It has to be short. It has to be small. It can't be a bunch of bytes. But you can do video just like you can image. And there are formats that you can get even more data to tie back. Last but not least, you can create locational sitemaps with KML files. You know how we're talking about creating images around a map whether it's on a street, a residential location, hypothetically, right? You can have locational maps within your website, location site maps, that are just your review points or places that you did jobs. And when Google crawls that sitemap, just like your robots, did you ever notice something? All your meta stuff, your robots, right? Didn't you notice? And your sitemap, did you notice how often it gets crawled? The same with that KML sitemap. Well, what if that sitemap was only loaded with where your images are, where your jobs were, where the reviews were, where the photos were left, all on points on the map? You can create that very easily. I know it takes a long time. It's not for every client. It's not for every business, but if it's your business and it's your bread and butter and you want to expand, when you're looking at these geo grids here, I'll show you something. All right. This is just to outline something. So when you're targeting a map, right? This is Miami. We have a business out here. Not me, but I work with a business. If you're targeting and working within a geographical area, a geo shape, right? A prism, whatever you want to call it. This is the area that we're targeting. Whether it's a 5-mile radius, 10-mile radius, 8-mile radius, but each pinpoint is a launch and lad. Each pinpoint is a street or a residence, or it's going to be easy to identify the target areas that aren't doing so well. Like, for instance, on this map here, if you were to leave on all these streets in Little Havana, images, videos, Q&A, run directional requests, plus impressions from those areas, that's how you get pins to light up. If you want organic growth and you want more proximity organically, cheap and fast and simply, these types of strategies are very effective. All right. I'll give you one last one. I said I'd be quick, but you know how I get. So we talked about the ask and answers, right? Utilizing driving routes from competition and local landmarks. We talked about that. We talked about leaving reviews on roads or on places of interest, bus stops. That's a big one. I'll give you one more little hint. All right. Here. The same exact strategy that we're talking about here? The strategy is really expanding proximity, being more relevant for a geographical location, getting more clicks, more traffic, more organic traffic, more visibility in an area. More importantly, expanding proximity and becoming brand recognized. Most times when I go into a city, I'm with a chiropractor, or I meet a personal injury lawyer, or a car accident lawyer, or brain injury lawyer, or I met a guy that does yachts. he rents yachts, literally. Like, every time I go into these markets, all the competition is established. You need a competitive edge. Of course, there can't be any risk to the business owner, but another thing that we found is just because you don't have a verified listing doesn't mean that you can't set up an ad account. Each listing, every listing that you create, unverified or not, verified or unverified, you are able to run ads from that account. If you have an ad account, you also can associate you can go out, get it. I shouldn't tell you this. I love you guys. You can buy a custom domain and put it on Google servers, and then you can use Google Ads on an unverified account. And you can run ads to a brand new domain that's on Google servers that just meta refreshes right over to your site. I can run ads right. It's like basically running ads to my site, but I can have an exact match. And there's no risk to the client because it has nothing to do with them. Highly effective. I guess the big tip right there is going to be you can run ads from an unverified account. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for me today. What did we talk about? Opinion sculpting using social media, comments. I really like the comments at scale. I really also enjoy dollar guest posting, doing listicles, just opinion sculpting in general for a very low cost, comments, and alongside of that, you can utilize guest posts, dollar posts. Number two is street viewing. So street views, that's video, that's image, that's reviews right on the actual street, in the street, at buildings, wherever you would like. Whether it's verified or unverified, it's like being in the index, the search results, or just being indexed. As long as Google sees it, it counts. Same with those reviews. You know, I had a law firm, I won't say where, but it was inside of a city with about 56,000 people in it. And we were just seeing they had 3 organic reviews, and I lit them up with reviews where, you know, you'll get the email. It'll say that it's there, but then it's gone. But when you log into the actual profile, the Google account where you left the review is still there. It has a reference ID. It ranked the GBPs. So hidden reviews still hold weight, just like this, just like an unverified listing. Anyway, moving down. Robot dialers, get off the VoIP. You could get, you don't need 10 DLC anymore. You could buy either SIM hubs, which come with software. I mean, we're talking for less than $300, $400. And the SIM cards you prepaid. There's tons of ASNs and MVNOs. They're dirt cheap, especially call and text or text only. Forget about it. You don't need data. You need one account that has data. I need one account just so I could do header requests, and I need to be able to log in, but the rest is just for that number. Moving forward, ask and answers, we did that. Utilizing driving routes. I think we touched on everything. I'm thinking to myself, it's going to wrap it up. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you enjoyed these tips today. This is for educational purposes only. It's late. I had a long night. We had a lot of work. Thank you so much for your time. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.